All right, so I'm just going to go over what we're doing. So basically, we're starting. Again, they've got. Again, we'll talk about pawns what right now, but we're creating a new blueprint class called BP Interactive. The one thing that um, where I did is I basically did the on use and I set up basically some sort of notice that the object is being used, or and I think I did object is some sort of message. um, don't worry about the exact message here as long as that on use in the BP interactive, you'll be fine. What I did is I actually took this. So what I did in class is I basically made this class without any model whatsoever. And I basically said it's going to be a parent class and it's not going to do anything. Like, I'm not actually going to put this in the world per se. And what I did, if we go back to Unreal, I mean, that's here is the BP Interactable. It's the parent class, but I didn't actually make it so I could put it in the world. I didn't give it any models whatsoever. And I went straight to the trigger walk example, which are these guys right here. And then this right here being the explosion one. I'll tell you right now, this explosion one, as it stands, is pretty much going to be perfectly fine as it stands. We won't have to do any other work on it, because basically we're going to trigger the on enter use through the player pawn is going to find the object and then tell it to use on use. So we were basically, because we weren't going to do the ray tracing last week, that's what we did instead. So, all right, let's get through the lab documents. Yeah, let's go back. Let's go back. We're going to do the ray tracing. So it's going to be hits. So again, when you are doing a ray tracing, you're going to get a structure called the hit result. And here we've broken the hit result into all its component pieces. We've gone over that. Again, the big one is the blocking hit, the initial overlap. You're probably going to use initial overlap. When, distance would be useful, location, other actors going to be, or hit component. These are the big three that you're going to be using right away. These are, do you have a hit? Do you have an overlap? Is it the initial overlap? And down here, these are hit actor, hit component. These are the big ones. Location, distance, normal, impact point. These are, again, the ones that are going to be most useful for you. So what we're going to, let me see, do they have an example? Next page. So here is line trace for objects, and here basically they're asking what type of object are we looking for. And we basically will create. We'll be asking for just interactable objects. Knows to ignore itself. Where are we going to start? Where are we going to end? Our work is going to be with the camera. So again, we're going to use the camera to be our start. Thanks, Atlas. So here is the start. So basically, start is where the camera is, and then end is going to be the forward direction of the camera, like at least 500. It's going to be maybe 1,000 units. Let me just see. I think, does the document have? Where's the line? Yeah, here's the event graph. So, let me see. Ray start, ray end. And then for debugging purposes. So the line trace, wow, four objects. Yeah, so let's jump right in. So let's go in and let's start with our pawn. So again, we've already set up it. So one of the things we did last week was we decided rather than using the E key, we're using the E key, but basically instead of going keyboard, went too far. There it is. Rather than using this node, we went and made a input action and bind the E key to that action, and set it. Basically made the action, added to the default input mapping, and set the E key there instead. So this is where you more intently where you're going to go as you go forward. All right. So we do want to use the started. There you go. Let's get a little more room. No. All right. So let's do on started line trace. There we go. Line trace for objects. Okay. Looking for start and end. So start again, we're going to get our follow camera, and we'll get world location. And let me grab this and copy it. Sorry. Because this will be, our endpoint will be that. So let's move that out. So we know that it's the world location is going to be that plus a vector. So we're going to grab the follow camera, and we're going to need the get its forward vector. So where's the camera pointing at? Get the forward x unit directions. That's going to be unit direction being value 1. So what we are going to do right away is we're going to add a variable here. It's going to be the call it ray trace distance, and this is going to be a float. I'm going to make it instant editable, but and ideally I'm going to go right in and do 1,000 units. That's going to help us right away to get going. So we're going to use the forward vector, and we're literally going to multiply this by the ray trace distance. So we now have a ray at the origin. At this point, we're at the origin, at 1,000 units forward. Then we are literally going to add these together. Let me go from the top one here. So we translate it from the origin to where it is in the world. I'm going to pull this out even further. And that's going to plug into our end. Object types, array of eQuery type. Array of object types trace. Do I build this? I'm trying to remember. Oh, okay. Okay, so there is a mode. What we're going to do is we're going to just basically make array. we'll do world dynamic. Yeah, world dynamic. So we're not going to look for anything static. We're just going to look for any dynamic, which will be our interactable objects. So, draw debug type. We can put this down. We can do this for, we'll do duration because it's a duration, draw time 5, trace color, hit color. So basically there's some debug stuff right here that we can play with. So we can see in the scene, so we can see where this line is being, so we can see where that ray trace is being performed. That'll help us debug, like, how are we doing things effectively. So we'll compile. So if we have an out hit, this is again break hit restruct. So if we have a hit, next thing that we'll want to do is based off a hit, and we'll do off the hit actor. We will try and cast to BP interactable. And if so, we can then go on interact. Again, let's compile this. Let's just jump back to the interactable. Again, we made that as a function that we can call here. So now that we've got that up and running, let's save everything. Let's jump back into game. And I'll hit E. You can see it is going. You can see that it's hitting stuff, but it's not finding what it's looking for. Now it should. So we did hit it in this case. And in this case. See that yeah, without having to do any work, those objects are already working as it is. So it is going to be like get up on something. See, you can see where it, again in that case, you can see where it hit and went through. You can see the green line. So that is, basically, so we got our interaction stuff up and running. Wasn't that hard. Again, let's just go back over the trace one more time. I might go back and redo these slides to get more information. Let me just make sure. Yeah, again, world dynamic. Stop the interaction right now. Content draw. So let's go back in. Again, the first thing that we needed to do was pull these guys out. There we go. So first we wanted to establish the start location. That is basically, we're using the file camera. We want to get its world location. So wherever the camera is, we're gonna go in that direction. Next, we want to start with the follow camera, get its forward vector, and we want to multiply that by our ray trace distance. So how far are we gonna go? And in the document, I'd say something like, I think I go like either 300 or 400 or 600. Today went big, went large, did 1,000, and that gives us room to be far away from it. You shrink that down, the ray trace is going to be shorter, effectively. So you can start with 1,000, you can bring it down, and that's what we did. We then again, this gives us the vector. That gives us the vector, but it's based on where it is in the origin. So we translated it. That's basically, we added the world location, added that vector together to give what that vector would be in the world. And then finally, basically made an array We're looking for world dynamic, which is what all actors you place in the world are considered world dynamic, unless we set them to be static. We didn't set anything to be static. In fact, for an optimization standpoint, where's the floor? Here's the floor. So right now the floor is actually world dynamic. It's movable. We could make it stationary, but we really wanted to really make it static. And then there's a process for building whatnot. We're not going to worry about that at the moment. But for right now, I mean, the floor really is static, so we really shouldn't be doing any ray traces through it. This will stop it registering hits on the floor effectively. So let's save everything. Just make sure everything's compiled. Yep, it is. All right. So that's what we needed to do to basically build up the interaction. And you can see that these guys basically, when we went to them, we're doing things. I have sound off, so that that we were having them play sound last week. So the speaker's off right now, so I'm not going to worry about sound effects at the moment. But what we did for this explosion one, that's basically, hey, that's what we were going to do anyways with this assignment anyways. So once we got the ray tracing up and running, we were good about getting these up and going. All right, so what that means, let's go back to the BP Intractable. I think this has an event. I think, let me just check. Yeah, so what we can now do is basically I can take this out. So the trigger walk example, I'm gonna take out, and I'll save. I'll compile and then save. And then I'm gonna go to the explosion one as well. I think we've got, yeah, event graph, begin actor, begin over. We compile and we can save that as well. So now they're not trigger. There's still triggers that we can interact with, but we're not triggering the uninteract by walking into them anymore. And that's the goal. If we really wanted that would have, if that's something we wanted to do, build a child off of BP Intractable that allows you to walk through. But in our case, we're going to leave it. We're going to take these out because we only want to interact with the object when we do the ray trace on it. All right. So I'm going to add in a cube. And I'm going to make this like 10 by 10. Let's say 5. We'll do 5. All right, so I'm going to build something simple for our level right here. It's going to be two cubes. And this is going to help us. Try to put this here. That'll help us. All right. And then I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to make another one. Let's make this something. I'm going to make this 8. So put that up. So basically, what we're going to use, effectively, what we're going to do here is one of the pieces we're going to do is an elevator. But one of the other things we'll create is basically a light that we can turn on and off. So I'm going to call it, let's make a new class. It will be actually of BP Intractable will be its parent. This will be BP toggle. So this is a toggle light. I should call it light toggle, but anyways. So I'm going to go in and I'm basically going to give, let's go to my content draw. Into story content, props. There we go. So I'm going to use that as my model. And I'm just going to compile. I'm going to jump. So you don't need the pawn open. We don't need Intractable open anymore. Let's go in and actually. There we go. So I'm putting it here again. I'm using the shade for our purposes right now. Is that big enough? Yeah, so it's sitting. So again, here is a light on the wall. I'm going to put you over here. I'll duplicate. I'll put you over here. So one of the things that we're going to do with this, again, I can save everything, jump into game, and I can go, and I can basically, by default, so you can see, hey, all sorts of, so you can see that it took a while to hit that. So one of the things, again, to make that easier for us, what we're going to do is we're basically going to go in, add, sorry, box collision. And this is going to be up higher. So box extent right now, again, we can go in and say, I think 20 by 20. I mean, let's give us a little more room. Let's leave it at, we'll leave it 32 by 30. 32 wide. We don't need it out as much. And I'm going to go 50. Yeah, I'll go 50 by 50. Heck. There we go. Now, we know this is going to be on the back side of that wall, so we can move that up on the axis line. So basically what we're saying here is that, hey, we've got a little more leeway to hit this object than just the model itself. So let's compile. Let's go back into the collection game. Let's see. So hitting it. Again, it's not perfectly on, but you know, those lines that you see are going to be invisible. So effectively they're going to be hidden. So you don't have to worry about that. One of the things that if you want to do, you could, in theory, what's the best way to put this? So right now we're doing this based on a key press. One of the things that you could do, like this would be definitely extra credit, is that every on tick the pawn is doing a ray trace. Now it's a little more expensive, but it's not that expensive. And that you could, in theory, if you're over an object, you could have something pop up saying interact. E interact. So this is more, this is a extra credit piece that you can do. So, all right. So now that we've got that, we know we're interacting with these guys effectively. Let's go in and let's implement them. So again, this is pretty much hello light. Let's go to our event graph. We don't need any of these nodes. Again, this is, begin play, begin overlap, event tick. I'm not doing anything in that regards. So, what we do need to do, actually, let's go back to the viewport. What we do need is actually to add a light component. Let's do a point light. All right. So for our purposes, obviously move the light above, move it forward just a little bit because otherwise it'll be in the wall. And then I'm just going to do, leave it the intensity. I'll leave light color. Let me see. Let's go to point light. Just make sure. Yeah, we'll leave edible when inherited. Yeah, should be okay. So let's compile. All right, so now that we've got that, let's assume that the light, basically we're going to leave the light on by default. Well, I mean, let's do this properly. Light starts on. Okay, we'll compile. We'll say light starts on. So this is a case where let's go back to now. Let's go to the event graph. We can actually do begin play now makes sense. Begin play. Actually, let's get the point light. Point light. Set. Let's just set visibility, and then new visibility. So basically, we'll use that Boolean to set the visibility. And then I'll just grab, actually, let's just go, now we'll just jump to, we'll go to override, and then there is on interact. We'll leave the parent on interact for our purposes, right? No, we've seen this. We don't need the message. We'll have the light turn on and off. We don't need the message. So we can just turn that off. And then we can do point light, toggle visibility. And that's all we need to do. Make sure we save everything. We'll jump back into game. Come back. The lights are on. You can see the lights turn off. Huzzah! And that is, again, we can turn them back on. And they're bloomy. I mean, we can go in and go to the point light. Be like, maybe 2000. Make this one, make it blue. And we'll move this one over here for the sake of argument. Chaining ray traces, we can probably say this is probably 200. Probably move the point light up a little bit. Oop. Let's, so I moved the point light. I didn't move the whole object. That's what I did. So let's move this over here now. So we got a bit of a shadow, but you know, that is a question of, do you want, I was trying to look. This is a model's not right on the wall. We can worry about that another time. Let the designers fiddle with that. So designers artists fiddle with that type scenario. But here we go, another light over here. In this case, this one. Let's go back to the toggle light, and I did not make this instant editable. There we go. So now we can turn that off. And with that in play now, we can press play. You can see that that light is turned off. Turn on, off. We go over here. Off, on, off, on. So far, so good. We've got stuff that we can, you know, says a message, plays sound, stuff that explodes. Let's go through our document right now. Okay, so we're gonna create a new. I'll have to go back. It's going to be BP elevator. So there are going to be two models in play here. We do need to make a material. So let's go create a material. And this is going to be matte, transparent. So we'll jump in. Basically, I'm going to hold down 3. It's going to be my, basically, this is going to be my base color. It's going to be, I'll do 0.7, 0.7, 0.7. And then this is, we want translucent. And then the opacity, I'm going to do 0.5. I'll say 0.7. There we go. So we've got now a transparent material that we can use. Let's save everything. I can close you. Let's go. We can close you. Yes, make changes. All right. So let's go. We're going to basically now build new blueprint class. This is going to be interactable. And select. This is going to be BP. Let's try and read. Elevator. All right. I'm going to add a cube, and this is going to be 0.2, so it'll be a bit thicker. Yeah, I'll keep it 0.1. I'm going to make it 2 by. Actually, this would be 3 by 2. And this is going to be I'll call this the elevator lift. All right. I am going to move this out. I'm going to move this out from. Actually, let me do this differently. 2 by 3, and then I'm going to move it this way because this is the forward direction. So I'm going to move it out this way. All right. The next thing that I'm going to do is basically I'm going to duplicate this object, and this is going to be elevator destination. And I'm going to start by putting this up like 500 units. All right. First things first. Let's give this. I'll use the hex on it, and then this one's going to be using the material transparent object. All right. This again, I'm also going to go to the collision on this one, and this is going to have no collision. All right. So the idea of this is going to be an object that's in this this is a cube that is going to mark where the elevator is going to go to, but it's not, it has no collision. Also, it's going to be hidden in game. So this is a tool piece in our object to set up the operation of basically the lift going here to up there. The one thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use a timeline. So so one of the things that when we get to the event graph in this case, again, I'm going to take all these guys out because I won't need them per se. Let's see. I think I might need to take right now. But we'll start with an add event, add custom event. This is going to be this is call it lift. If start, we'll do another event. Add custom event, lift, return. Again, this is going to basically, again, lead to a new timeline. That's not what I want. There we go, add timeline. So this is going to be lift, control. Again, this is going to be a reverse. I'm going to make a function just to make our life easier. It's going to be place lift, and this is what is going on? Oh, I've got it. And then the input basically here is going to be a percent. This is going to be a float. So one of the things that we're going to do is basically we need to know. Here's the elevator lift, and we're going to get Actually, let me do local. Sorry, not local. Relative location. Elevator destination. We're gonna work in relative space. So this is what we can go in and rotate and do what we want, and then ultimately set that up. So ultimately, what these two are going to go to is we're going to use a lerp, and it's going to be vector. I believe A is going to be our lift. Actually, it's not going to be the lift location. What we do need to go in is add a new variable here. Lift start location. This is going to be a vector. So it won't be the lift itself. It's going to be its... Actually, let me undo this. Back to being a vector. Okay, let's break this. We'll need this, and I'm going to just cut this. All right, so it's going to be the start location. And the relative location, and percent is going to plug in right here. This will give us where that location will be. So this is, again, elevator lift. Set relative location. And there is... Let me plug this in, and again, I gotta... Boom. So again, this is basically going to set the lift. All right, compile. Let's go back to the event graph. So on update, just do place lift. Again, we'll go into lift control right here, and we'll add a track. Lift percentage. I'm going to just do 3 seconds for our purposes right now. Bring this. Again, create a key here. Zero it out. create a key right here. Make sure that is on time 3 and this is on, exact value 1. So here is our percentage. Again, have fun with the lift as you see fit. So we'll compile that. We can jump back. We can close the lift control, and then we can close that. And then here is the lift percent. All right. So when we're done, basically we'll know that, hey, we'll place the lift. All right. This is where a little bit of engineering is going to come into play. So off finished, this gets called whether when we get call play, when it stops, finish gets called. When we call reverse and it stops, finish gets called. So first thing that we need to know is basically is a vector that's going to be a Boolean is moving up. We'll compile. We'll leave that as default as false. But what we'll do is basically we will set is moving up here is true. So this allows us to go again, do an if. Again, the prediction is moving up. So if it's true, that means that we are on the other side, that the elevator has gone up. First thing that we'll need to do, I'm going to put a variable here, is going to be lift. This is going to be return delay. And this is going to be a float because it's going to be seconds. And I'm going to turn that on so it's indentable. So first thing, so if it's true, we're at the top. In this case, what we're going to do is going to just call delay. And then the duration, we're just going to just plug in. And I'm actually going to go do a reroute. There we go. So we can get this a little bit higher. So if that's the case, we're going to delay is moving up. We'll set that to be false. And then we can call return, lift return. In the false state, basically we've gone to, I'm just going to put a reroute node is. So if is moving up is true, it means we're at the top of the lift is at the top, and ultimately we want it just to sit there, delay and then come back down. If we're in this scenario, I'm just going to do a big comment right here. We don't. We don't need to do anything. In the case up here, and again, I have the Boolean being set here. In theory, I could have done it over here where return lift, the Boolean could be set here. But let's compile. Let's jump into world now. Stack my windows correctly. So I'm going to put the elevator right here. So this is where, again, that's the center of it. And I'm going to just rotate this 90 degrees. And in this case, I'm gonna make the cube bigger. So I'm gonna make this 6. So I'll put not 6. Give that 5. This needs to be 6. Actually, I'll do 8 here. So this needs to set to 400 to get the center. I'll leave these two. Make this a bigger gap. Okay. So this is showing you how to use this object effectively. I'm going to go to the elevator itself now. And I'm going to go to elevator list def, and I can change where this is going to go. Now, I have done one thing. I need to go back to the elevator. I do need begin play. I've just picked up. And what we want to do is get the lift start location, which we're going to set. We're going to basically grab the elevator lift, and then we're going to get relative location. Plug that in there. Pull you back. So make sure that we're setting that on begin play. What's up?
Well, you asked me to move the base, but not the destination.
Did I?
Yeah, you selected the base, but it wasn't the route.
What? This one? Wait. What's the question again? I'm a little. So I went into the destination.
You moved the destination. Then
Yep.
Moved the base to the side, but you had selected it, not the route.
That's gonna. Oh, so here's what's up. Not gonna matter. I mean, I can move this over here. I mean, that's still the so again, yes, that is the scene route. But this is showing like I can do whatever I damn want with these objects. Like I can put the lift here and have that register, here. So where the elevator is in the world, like again, we worked locally. So I moved these objects in the world, but they're like if we look at it at this location, that's at 100, 790. That's relative locations. If I go down here, I mean, I moved this over, 110. I'll just do 100 for the sake of argument, and I'll move this at 100, and I'll say this should be at 800. These are the relative location, and we're only working relative. So the lift is working relative to itself. Because remember, I mean, let's take this another extreme. Again, let's go back up to the default route. I rotated 90 degrees. So it's going to work again. It's going to work. Let's take this and we'll duplicate them. Oh. Come on. Where's my elevator? There we go. So if I duplicate it, and I can rotate it back to 0, and I can move this over here. Grab the destination, I pull that in. So you can see basically, I'm again, because we're working in the local coordinates to the scene route, it doesn't matter, as long as I place those wherever I want, it doesn't matter. Yeah, because basically I've basically moved everything into local coordinates. So we can go back, we can see, and there's one thing I have not done. Let's go back. And it is on we override the on interact. And what I didn't do, we'll take the parent on interact because we don't need that. And so basically on Interact, I'm just going to do call lift start. And that's all that's all I need to do. That's what I forgot to do to start this things off. So let's compile, let's go back, save everything. And then I'm going to go over and I'll set this up. It goes. And then the problem I probably forgot to do is the return delay. I set it to 0. So let's do a 3-second delay. We'll just do this right here. I'll go into this one right here. I'll set this to 5. I'll do 6. What the heck? I'll double it on this one. So I'll press play. You can see right now I can go over, up it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There, now it comes down. And now I'm going to ride this one up. And then there, down it goes. I can drop down. And ironically, we can, as it goes down, we can call it back up. So fun stuff that we can do. Okay. So we can get stuck. And then the other thing that we can do, I'm actually going to take this one. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to put the root just to show you how I'll rotate it 90 degrees because why not? Or no, I'll leave it like this. I'm gonna leave the root. I'll leave the root there just for the lull factor. The lift in this case, the destination, I'm gonna put over here. And it'll overlap just a little bit. I'm actually gonna make this bigger. I'll do 12. There we go. So I'm going to actually select the destination. I'll put the destination up here. And bring it down just a little bit. There we go. So there's a little bit of overlap. And then I'll grab the elevator lift. I'll put its starting point over here. Bit of overlap. There we go. And I can like literally go in and I can actually change the lift characteristics. Do 1.5. So I'll do a 3 so that we got the same characteristics. I'll put it right there. So now I've got another lift that can bring me from here up to there. So let's run that at the moment. You can see I missed it. There we go. So I'm going on a diagonal, in this case, on that lift. And I should probably make that much smaller of a... But all right, so first things first, let's go up here, and we can get up here and be like, cool, we've got stuff, and that's going to go off. The question is, what do? Well, the next object is going to be we're going to make a new blueprint class of BP Intractable. It's going to be BP call lift. I'm going to add a cube. And this is going to be, let me see, 5. Sorry, 50 units up. I'll keep we'll do 0.5, 0.5, so it's just like a pillar. I'm just gonna do the hex. That's not what I want. Hex. I use the pulse in this one. So for our purposes, let's go into the world. Save it. And then I'm going to put one here. And I'm going to put one here and one here. Okay. Let's go back to the call lift. So the first thing that we really need to know as a variable is the other elevator. And this is going, we want to make this incidentable, and then our type is going to be BP elevator. So far, so good. So compile. First thing that we will do, let's actually go and override the on interact. We'll take out the parent object interaction. First thing that we're going to do is basically going to go get other elevator is valid. So yeah, making sure that, you know, our level designers, again, I'll do the So yeah, you know, I'm being harsh. I am a level designer by trade, so hooray! I can make these jokes about myself. You wouldn't make a message this harsh, but hey, have fun. I mean, this is you know, we can go. Well, we'll do this right. We'll do one of the. Won't connect one of them so we can see that string. But basically, we can just again go other elevator, get other elevator. We can do on interact. Is an option. Another one is to lift start. You can pick one or the other. I'm probably going to just do lift start. But that's what this on interact is doing here. It's just basically, hey, calls the elevator. So let's compile this. Let's go back to the collection game. Let's make sure we say everything. All right, so this one is going to connect to, so this is BP elevator. So I'm going to, other elevator is going to be BP elevator. This one, I'm not going to connect. And then this is the third one. Yeah, so this one is going to be, go and connect elevator 3. And you can see it only gave me the objects in the scene that are of the elevator type. So use that to your advantage. Make your life easier. Make it life easier for your designers. This is basically making our lives easier for our designers, and you know, make an object for them to use. You know, if an object needs like a point in the world, give them an object to put in the world for that specific purpose. You know, make an object that's just to mark a place in the world, and then just ask for that in the editor. You know, be you know, thorough and concise with your tools. So here we go. Let's save everything. So off we go. We ride the elevator up. And here it comes back up. And then we can send this one up. Up we go. Give it a few more seconds and it will return. And then we can call it. And just that interaction with the lift, with the call button, you could make it into a call button. You could make it, in something. You do whatever you want. Again, you can, again, in theory, go, with the call lift. I mean, right now we made it. I mean, here's the cube. I mean, let's go to the viewport. I mean, I made it look like this, but you go in and give it another model. I mean, if I wanted to make another model to use over and over, I'd probably make another blueprint class to inherit from this, and all it's doing is basically just changing up like the collision box. Like this would be a, transparent material, and there's another button inside type scenario. But if it was a one-time use, I might just change up that one instance of the object and add stuff to it. So let me just go through the document. I think did the lamp. Yeah, here's the lerp. I called it move lift. Again, move lift, place lift, set on begin play. Here's the lift. Go through, activate lift. Again, I'm doing this, so I'm turning it off right. I'm turning it off right away before the delay. Your mileage varies on how you want to do it. I could have, in theory, put it over here. So there's like 3 different ways we could have set that Boolean. Do it as you see fit. Again, on use activate lift. Here is, again, in this case, I actually did the parent on use over here. I didn't put a message this time, but again, I did activate lift, but we could do on interact. I think that's pretty much it. And this is kind of the scene that we built. I think these were the exploding pillars. I happen to have that particular material at the time. So let's go back through. Let's go through this. So you saw how boring. Actually, that was interacted by. We'll go back. We'll do something with the holder. Goes up. Turn on the light. Go over here. We can turn off this one. Ride the elevator up. And I think this is the one I didn't. Yeah, so basically, told the level designer we didn't connect the error message. And then we're up here. Again, we can call the lift back. But that is your assignment in a nutshell. I mean, these guys, again, these are extra from last week's lecture. Take a look at the holder. So one of the things you can do, this is a be careful with how you do what I'm about to do. I'm going to change the parent class of this actor. Now it is actor class. Cool. I am, that's not what we want. Let me see. That's not what we wanted. What we wanted was class settings. And parent class is here actor. We can go and set it to BP interactable. So going from parent class to a child, easy, not that big of a deal. Going from a child up to a parent is more fraught. So be careful what you're doing. You can crash the editor going back. If I go back and forth multiple times, the editor will eventually crash on me. Just just how that things go. So now the holder is interactable. Rather than enter, I can take this enter off. I can cut these nodes, go to the override to on interact. I can paste the nodes back in, and there we go. So now I've got the holder now interactable object. We'll save this. We can jump back to the collect the game here. Press play. I can go up. See, those guys are gone, and those all said their messages. And I can do this again. Now it should have, yeah. So these guys should have told the holder. The one thing is that I tried calling them again; they weren't in the scene anymore. So, if you've got a holder situation and things are being removed, make sure that the holder gets a notification to remove the object. So, not that big of a deal, but something to be aware about. You know, one of the things that you can do. Let's go back to. Let's go back to that class. Actually, let's take care of that. It is dependent on. So let's go. Sorry, that's not it. Did I close Epic? I did. How did I do that? So there's two things that we need to implement. One, the holder needs a method that's public. So the holder needs a method that's public to remove objects from that list. Level collection game. There we go. Okay. No. All right. Let's go to the holder. We'll start with the holder first. So the holder needs a new function. So it's going to be remove object, and it needs an input, and this is going to be other object, and this is going to be of type BP. Type BP interactable, and that's because that's what's in an array. So we're going to grab the array. We're going to just ask. We're going to just out of curiosity, make sure it contains that item before, again, why we're doing, so that we're just saying, hey, just make sure that it contains it's in the array before. And so if it's true, then we can remove item. And this is going to be a bit messy. So if the array contains the object, then we'll remove. There we go. We'll remove the object. That's, just making sure that it has it before we do anything. Compile. So now we've got that in place. Let's just make sure that the remove object. It'll be it's public. So there we go. All right, so we can close the holder right now. So let's go back and let's go to the explosion. What we can do is we can add a variable. We'll just call it holder. And this, again, we'll make sure that this is of type. We just called it holder. And we'll make that instance editable. Right now, this is on interact. So what we want to do is basically we'll go in. Let's just make a function. Just call remove at holder. All right. Why we're doing this? Basically because we go back to the event graph. We can close on interact. Sorry, we do want to interact. We'll just put the remove at holder function right here before we destroy the object. That allows us, so the first thing that we'll say, hey holder, get holder is valid. So if the object, if we've set a holder object, then we can go get it, remove item, remove, there we go, remove object, which is the function we created. Other object, and it's going to be self. We can do this right. If we didn't, it's not going to call this. So let's compile. Let's go back to the collection game, and I'm going to grab these three. I'm just going to copy, I'm going to duplicate them. So these objects aren't in the holder. I'm going to grab these three again. And you can see right now, here's holder. Again, there's only going to be one, there's only one holder in the scene. But now when we blow these guys up, I'll press play, you'll see that, let me go from this side, you can see. I missed. Wait. What happened? Is there one missing? That's weird. One of them is not triggering right now. We can worry about that another moment. So you see holder has interacted, but now if I go back, I'm not getting any error messages because when I blew those up, they basically called. Let's go back. Let's blow them all up. I figure out why this one's not getting called for some reason. But you can see now I'm not getting error messages because I'm verifying that A, the holder is verifying is getting objects are being removed from the holder when it explodes, and then B, when those basically if an object explodes, if it has a holder, it calls its holder to tell it to remove it. So quick, things that be aware about, things that you want to make sure that you're doing. We want to build systems. Like the holder is a system. Holder basically knows, like, I need to do stuff on these objects. You need to know when an object is removed from its system. These exploding guys need to tell the holder that it's got to remove itself from the system. But that's pretty much, but it needs to do that if, and again, this is a case of if the holder is set, then we want to do it. If there's no holder set, then, it's on its own doing its own thing. And that's the default operation. I mean, we can have it do that one particular thing, or we can set it with the holder system. And that's something we could, we could move to, like, on destroy. There's a lot of questions, like, where things are being done and why. We can move around. It's one of the big questions. But so there's so much you can do with this system. Like I've given you like the like basic interaction to build You can walk around, interact with stuff, and this is if you wanted to build a Stanley Parable, here you go. You've got the first half of the you're two-thirds of the way to the Stanley Parable. The other third is stupid writing and other gags, and a bucket. And if you played the Super Deluxe version, you know what I mean by bucket. All hail bucket. So, once you get to the elevator point with the whole air, like once you get to this point, start doing stuff. There's so much possibility for extra credit here. We made a lift. Does it have to be a lift? No, it could be a window. Go back and make the sliding, the two doors. You could go back and do that. There's so many possibilities for what you can do here. Now, like this, grab this and have fun, run with it, build stuff. All right. Any other questions before I just let you go? No. All right. I'm gonna stop the recording right here.